What is up, guys? So with World of Warcraft having over 900 different mounts, it's pretty overwhelming to decide which ones you should collect and which ones you shouldn't. Now in this guide we're going to talk about the ones every player absolutely should have. With that being said, there are 8 categories of mounts that I think everybody should have for their unique qualities. I'm going to show you what they are and where to get them. Alright, let's get started. The first mount on our list is the Sandstone Drake. This is the only mount that you mount up and it turns you into a dragon. Awesome looking mount. Also, this mount allows you to carry a friendly player on your back, meaning you are the dragon flying around and you can carry your lazy, no good guildie to the Mythic Plus or Raid. Now, this mount is crafted through alchemy. However, the recipe for this mount is very hard to get, as you do have to do archaeology to get it. There is some good news though. If you're a lazy person like me and don't want to farm up the recipe and the mats for this mount, you can buy it on the auction house. Relatively cheap compared to some of the mounts on our list. If you are one of those people that is actually interested in crafting this mount for yourself, I will leave a video in the description below, as the crafting and recipe farming for this mount can get very complex. Now, if you don't want to fork over the gold for this mount, there are other alternative passenger mounts, such as the 4 Dragonflight mounts that were released for Dragonflight. These are relatively easy to get. All you have to do is unlock the Dragon Flying campaign. It takes about 30 minutes to get your first mount. However, there are 4 mounts that you will be able to completely customize depending on what you have unlocked. Now, just like the Sandstone Drake, the 4 mounts that we're talking about here, you will be able to carry passengers with you. They won't mount you on your back. They will turn into a little proto and fly beside you, but they're still the same. Now, to unlock the passengers, we are right here in Dragonflight, right here in the major city, right here on the map. In this location, you will find an NPC right here that will unlock your talents for dragon riding. Right here, Ride Along will be the ability that you have to unlock to allow players to ride with you. Now, I will leave a guide in the description that will go into a lot more depth as far as the Dragonflight campaign and the unlocking of talents. The next must-have mount for anyone that is leveling alts is the Chauffeur's Chopper. This is one of a few mounts that you can use at level 1. It is by far the fastest. You can use the Sea Turtle, but again, this mount is faster. Now, this mount will cut down on your questing time, as you don't have to run everywhere. Obviously, you'll be able to mount up and the chauffeur will drive you around from quest to quest. And it's a motorcycle. And honestly, who doesn't like motorcycles? Anyway. So to get this mount, you will need to complete the Heirloom Hoarder achievement. You'll have to buy 35 different heirlooms for your character, and that will grant you the achievement. So to buy these heirlooms, you will have to head to Ironforge Hall of Explorers right here on the map if you are Alliance. Make your way down the hallway all the way to the end, right here. And you're going to veer off to the left hand side and you will see a vendor right here. Now, he will offer all the heirlooms. Now, these are great for purchasing as well outside of the mount, because you can purchase them and then be able to craft them in your heirloom tab, which will then give you a piece of gear that you can put on your leveling character, and that will give you an XP boost along with the mount itself. Horde players, we're going to go to Orgrimmar, right outside the gate. Your vendor will be on top of the gate, right up here to the right hand side against this wall right here, and this is where the Horde vendor for the heirlooms is. The next group of mounts I want to talk about are the water walking mounts. Now, if you played Mists of Pandaria, you will remember the Water Strider mounts. They had the unique ability to walk on water. However, Blizzard did take this away from your mount. There is some good news though, because they did add in an item that will allow any mount that you are on to walk on water. It's an item that you can buy on the auction house relatively cheap. And although it's not a specific mount, I feel like it was important to talk about anyway. So you go to your nearest auction house. On the left hand side under the miscellaneous tab, go all the way to the bottom to mount equipment and click search. In this area you'll find inflatable mount shoes. Now the price may vary on which server you're on, but it's highly worth the money. Now once you buy it and have it in your bag, you're going to open up your mount tab and pull the item and drop it right in this little mount equipment slot right here, and that will allow any mount that you mount up on to be able to walk on water. Now that we've covered mounts that walk on top of the water, let's cover some mounts that actually swim in the water. Now the first one here is the Brine Deep Fathom Dweller. Now this mount is acquired through fishing in Legion. I did do a guide on it back in 2016, if you can believe it. Basically, you will have to fish up items and turn them in for reputation, and then once you hit the exalted reputation, you will get this mount. This mount will increase your swim speed while mounted on it, and Blizzard has had underwater zones before, so it's always a good idea to have a underwater mount just in case they ever do decide to bring it back. The next mount on our list is the Traveler's Tundra Mammoth. Now this mount is a great pick if you are tired of your bags filling up with useless gray items and having to run back to town to empty your bags. This mount comes with a vendor and a repair. So if you break an item while out doing quests or in a Mythic Plus dungeon or raid where you are able to mount up, you will be able to repair your items as well as clear your bags of junk items that you no longer need. This mount also has a feature where you can eject the passengers, the vendors on the mount, which will give you 2 extra seats, so that way you can carry 2 additional party members if you so choose. The repair vendor alone I use every day. There are other options as far as repair mounts, however, this is the cheapest, coming in right around 20,000 gold. We are in Northrend right here, and we are going to be in Dalaran right here on the map. In this location you will find a vendor right here. You'll see the mammoth right here. Right click, and this mount goes for 20k gold depending on your Kirin Tor rep. The higher your Kirin Tor rep, the less you pay for the mount. So it'll range from 20,000 gold to 16,000 gold depending on your reputation, as I said, for the Kirin Tor. Now 20,000 gold is a lot of gold. However, running out of bag space and having to run back to town to empty your bags makes this mount so worth it. The next mount on our list is the Grand Expedition Yak. Now, it is along the same lines as the Traveler's Tundra Mammoth, except for this mount has one big difference. It has the repair and vendor mount on it. It also has a transmog vendor on it as well, meaning that when you're in your raid group or your Mythic Plus group and people are like, oh, your transmog is such trash, this mount will allow you to change your transmog on the fly just by mounting up. It's great for swapping out sets or piecing together your own sets if you wish. Now, just like the Tundra's Mammoth, you can again eject the 2 passengers to carry 2 of your party members on this mount as well. Now for me, I don't really care about transmog as much as some people do, so I usually use the Mammoth just for my vendor repair. But if you are interested in this mount, we are in Pandaria right here on the map. This mount is bought from a vendor for 120,000 gold. And sadly, reputation will not change the amount of gold you spend on this. It is bottom line 120,000 gold for the mount. And that is a lot of gold, but again, if you're into transmog, this mount is a must-have for you. It also doubles as a repair mount. And you might say, well, Big D, I don't have any gold for these mounts. Well, don't worry guys, I got you covered. These next 2 mounts I'm about to show you allowed me to buy the most expensive mounts in the game. The first up is the Sky Golem mount. Now this mount is made by engineers and can be bought and sold on the auction house. For relatively cheap you can buy this mount. And if you don't have the gold, that is okay. The next alternative is the mechanized lumber extractor. Now this mount is awarded for an achievement where you have to collect 300 toys. But both of these mounts function in the same exact way. So in order to get this mount, you will have to complete the achievement, remember to share. Again, collecting 300 toys will award you this mount versus spending the gold to buy it on the auction house. Now what makes these mounts so special is you can use this mount to pick herbs without having to dismount. Originally only druids in flight form could do this, but now anybody that has this mount can do this. Now the flight on this is kind of weird and wonky. As you can see, it kind of flies side to side, so if you get motion sickness, it's not a great mount. But as far as making gold from Herbalism, this is my go-to mount. So if you're really struggling with gold, I suggest you get one of these two mounts, get Herbalism, and get to farming gold. This is a great mount for this. It's absolutely one of my go-tos as far as unique ability mounts. It's my number one. This mount right here is personally responsible for the next mount I'm about to show you. You have seen it throughout this entire video. It's one I use on a daily basis. It's the most hated and controversial mount in WoW. It is the Mighty Caravan Brutosaur. This mount was originally 5 million gold to buy from a vendor. Sadly, they have taken this mount away from the vendor, and there's a pretty good reason why it's 5 million gold. You have access to an auction house on the mount, which makes it incredibly powerful for farmers that are selling their herbs and or if you're in a Mythic Plus group or a dungeon group, you can simply pop up your Brutosaur and get to the auction house to buy your flasks, potions, whatever, and then couple that with the Katie stamp whistle toy, you have a mailbox. The reason I bought this mount, because at the time I was a GM and a raid leader, and I needed this mount because my Slack-in guildies would not bring their flasks and potions to raid. Sadly, this mount again was taken off the vendor, meaning the only way you can buy this mount is from the black market auction house, which sadly, when it comes up on the black market auction house, will cost you 1 gold shy of 10 million, which is more than double what it was before. And it's sad because Blizzard did release a second Bronto mount as well. This one came with a mailbox, and it costs significantly less than the original Bronto mount, which I also purchased through Herbalism. That's why I'm saying, guys, that Sky Golem mount is a great mount for you guys to make gold. But sadly, they took that one right out of the store. You cannot buy it anymore. And I really feel bad for the people that missed out on this mount, because it is such an essential mount to have. So I could not include it in this list. But hopefully they'll bring it back for people that missed out, and you'll be able to get your hands on this mount again. But the best way to get the Mighty Caravan Brontosaur is to keep an eye on the auction house and have 10 million gold ready to throw down on it. And that's it, guys. Let me know in the comments what your favorite mount in this list was, if I missed any mounts that should have made this list. Also, guys, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content like this. And until the next time, guys, see ya.